Greetings and welcome back to the horrible, yucky, filthy hole of Bileberry. I'm still the Wizard of What? Even though I don't believe we're gonna have any fatalities from the giant cave spider attack, I'm gonna go ahead and set up a temporary hospital anyway, just to be sure, because I believe somebody did get bitten and injected, and even though they're not serious injuries, you never know if something's gonna get infected or whatever if it doesn't get treated. Still on the hunt underground for magma, though, because I really want to build my fortress around the magma forge and furnace so that they're not too far away and we can work those really efficiently. While all that mining is going on, I am also setting up a barracks for now. It probably won't stay here, but I just want to get some soldiers training. After that last fight, I'm not sure how much they need training to be able to be combatants, but I'd like to have them doing it anyway, just, to be safe. And I just realized I lost the dwarf that's doing woodworking because he is now training in the military. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the two soldiers' other labors so they can just train and I won't think they're doing other stuff, and give someone else the woodworking labor, or the carpentry labor, rather. Putting the first bed in the hospital, which will be nice because A, we can have dwarves rest their injuries, and B, that's somewhere to sleep that's not the floor, which makes the dwarves happier. Although, if I'm reading DFhack right, it seems that my dwarves are doing fairly well, all things considered. We found some semi-molten rock, and this is where the fun begins, because that means there is magma nearby. Now begins the task of carefully exploratory mining to try and find an actual pool of magma. The first thing I'm going to try is just digging over that semi-molten stuff to see if the magma is there. Meanwhile, on the surface, it is still horrible and green. For being in an evil biome, though, this has been going pretty well. I had already made peace with losing 2 to 3 to 4 dwarves to some random nonsense like a undead or some random evil creature attack or something, but no one has even died yet, let alone have any sort of fort threatening issue pop up. All said, I'm pleased as punch and thrilled to bits with the well-being of my dwarves at the moment, although I do hope that this evil biome doesn't turn out to not really be all that evil. That would be a little unfortunate, to say the least, because Dwarf Fortress just isn't really Dwarf Fortress, in my opinion, unless you have lots of horrible, fun things to threaten the lives of your dwarves and the safety and security of your fortress. Oh, there is an R running around in my stockpile. Let's see what that is. Looks like, a giant rat. That's, interesting. Well, I'm glad he's not hostile, at least. Now, this giant rat, to put it in perspective, is about 9 to 10 times the size of a dog. And in Dwarf Fortress, I believe the dogs are about the size of a larger breed of dogs, so yeah, it's not just a rat the size of a person. It's fairly big. And the giant cave spider corpse is stinking up my stockpile, so I need to go ahead and set up my refuse and dumping area so I can get that out of there so all my dwarfs aren't annoyed and grossed out by the stinking spider carcass. For some reason, the dwarf that got rid of the spider corpse decided to dump it in the water, which is kind of gross, I guess, because I'm hoping to use that water for drinking and stuff. But, dwarves will do what dwarves do, I suppose. And the distance the corpse is from the water I'm using is far enough that the dwarves should honestly not care. It'll just gross me out. Back in the underground, we found a wall of semi-molten rock. Again, I'm going to try digging over it because I'd rather find the top of the magma than the bottom of the magma if I can help it. Unfortunately, I've actually not had a ton of experience digging around magma seas, so I've done it enough to know how they work, but I don't know the ideal method for trying to figure out where they are and dig into them. So I didn't find any semi-molten rock up here, so I'm going to try digging down into it. Aw, sick, magma. Except actually not. It's actually just magma flow, which you can't use for smelters or furnaces or anything. So it looks like we're going to have to keep rooting around for an actual body of magma down here somewhere. Actually, I kind of forgot magma flows existed at all, so I'm kind of trying to figure out where they are in relation to the actual magma. I guess I need to get on the wiki and do my homework. Which means, unfortunately, these little messes of exploratory mining are just going to be down here forever, being horribly ugly. Aha! Warm rocks. That's pay dirt. That means for sure that there's magma around here somewhere, and not just magma flows, which are apparently at the bottom of the magma sea, so I went down a little too deep before I hit anything. I'm just going to build a floor over this downward staircase here so I don't have to worry about all that junk I dug out below this floor trying to look for magma. I'm just going to have him go ahead and dig into here, and if it's magma, he should just be able to outrun it. Hey, and there's the magma sea along with some other fun stuff. Now I just got to figure out where the miner is in relation to all of this. Okay, so since it's just coming in that single file thing there, he should just be able to leave and not get hurt, because dwarves, I'm fairly certain, can outrun magma. Now I can finally start digging out the areas for the workshops that will be the magma smelters and forges. Uh-oh. Oh no. See, the game didn't tell me because nobody has seen it, but it looks like our miner just bit it. He did not, in fact, outrun the lava. That is rather unfortunate. Well, that's what I get for making assumptions, I suppose. Well, as callous as it is, the good news is that that was not a critical dwarf. He just had some doctoring skills. The bad news is that he had my only pick. Shorast has passed to another realm, but I'll make him a nice gravestone and put it up somewhere to honor his sacrifice for the Fortress of Bileberry. On the other hand, now I'm going to have to wait until I can figure out how to get another pick. So which means I'll probably have to wait for traders to show up and trade for a pick. It seems in the end that the first real problem that faces the fort is due to my own incompetence, rather than either of the biomes. For the time being, it appears that I'm going to have to continue laying out my fort just kind of in the underground and working with what I have until a pick shows up, since I can't do any more mining until I get one. Like I said, though, I will engrave a memorial slab for poor Shorast, who died through no fault but my own. And if only I could have one of my dwarves engrave on the wall a safety poster about the dangers of magma. Now I also have to go on the surface to build a trade depot, and though the surface has not proved to be dangerous, I am still very suspicious of the long-term effects of horrid filth on dwarves. I'll just plop that down up outside the fort for now, and hope that I can figure something out based on the first people who show up. I may even have to resort to stealing a pick if I can't scrounge up enough valuables to trade for one. Oh, there's a T, and I know what that is. That is a troll. Not the end of the world, but I'm going to throw the entire fort at it regardless. No dwarven injuries to speak of yet again, but the troll did manage to destroy 2 of my farm plots when he ran in. And now his pretty cyan blood is splattered all over where the fields once were. Looking at the combat log, it looks like someone just hit it in the head and killed it. Interestingly enough, it appears that my dwarves, when I'm drafting them right away and sending them to fight something, are not picking up their weapons. So some of them are just kind of, punching and kicking, and, in Abel's case earlier with a spider, biting. And trolls are building destroyers, which is why he destroyed my farms. He had nothing better to destroy, which makes them fun when the goblins bring them to attack your fort, because they can kind of just take down your defenses sometimes. Well, at least we had some excitement for once, even if we did lose a dwarf. I think that's going to be all for this one. I'm still the Wizard of What, and I hope I see you next time.